actually want to share a quick training on something that I am seeing a lot of creators get stuck with at the moment that is really holding them back. What I am noticing is that most people are not getting the sales that they want because they can't clearly articulate what they sell, or their offer structure is weak and it is confusing. Therefore, people are not buying. So, this is not a funnel issue. This is not a traffic issue. This is not I don't have an audience issue or I have a small audience issue. If your offer itself is not clear and if it is not strong, nothing else that you layer on top of it is actually going to make it sell. So you could have the best funnel that makes the most sense. You could have all of the traffic in the world. You could have the biggest audience, but if your offer is not clear and people do not instantly understand it, then your offer is not going to sell or as well as it should. So why does your offer matter more than anything? Well, when your offer is irresistible, when you can clearly articulate what it is, your content connects with people much more seamlessly. Your ads actually work. So you can run paid ads to a cold audience, and that cold audience understands what the offer is. You don't need to over explain it or, even jump on like sales calls or DM back and forth. Your offer does the talking. DMs convert. Like I said, you could just send the link to someone and your message does the work for you. Buyers understand what it is that you are actually selling and understand it instantly. Therefore, sales come faster. You stand out among your peers. So if you have a crowded niche, you might think, oh my gosh, there's so many people doing what I do. And if you can't clearly articulate what you help people with, then of course they're not going to buy. But if you can, then you're going to stand out and people are going to know that what you offer is for them. Now, when your offer is not irresistible, it leaves buyers feeling confused. People hesitate. You feel like you have to convince people, those long-winded DM conversations where you're going back and forth, or like if you're on a webinar or a workshop and you're having to answer a bazillion questions to try and explain it to people. Selling just feels really hard. It feels like no matter what you try, it just doesn't work or connect with people, and no amount of funnels or traffic can fix it. And this is a huge issue I'm seeing at the moment, that people are thinking, okay, I just need to get more eyeballs on my offer. And you do. That's so important. But first, they do that without first having an offer that is absolutely irresistible that is going to sell. So your offer really is the foundation of your entire business. If your offer isn't great, you're not going to sell, you're not going to make money, and you're not going to have much of a thriving business. So the two biggest problems that I see is, first of all, lack of clarity. So people who cannot clearly articulate what they sell, who it is for, the transformation of their offer, why their offer matters. So like, why does it actually matter right now? Why is it important? Why should I buy it right now? What makes it different? So why should I purchase from you as opposed to purchasing from someone else in your niche? Like, what's special about you or your offer that makes it really unique in the market? Now, if your buyer cannot understand your offer in literally 2 seconds, like if they can't look at it and glance at the messaging, you only have those few seconds to capture their attention, then they're not going to buy. They're going to click off, go somewhere else, and find they're still going to have the same problem that they have, but they're going to find the solution with someone else. And we don't want that. So I want you to be clear. The second thing that is really holding offers back is having weak offer structure. So even if your offer idea is great, even if you have a clear promise, maybe the packaging isn't. So this could involve, there being too many inclusions and really overwhelming the audience where people are like, I am so overwhelmed. I wouldn't know where to start. I don't know what really this is. It's a whole lot of stuff. Seems cool, but I don't know what it is. Or maybe there's not enough. Maybe you have a vague promise. Maybe there's no urgency. And by urgency, I don't just mean we have 10 spots available or the price goes up on this date. I mean, what is the urgency for someone to buy now? How is it relevant in their life today? No differentiation, so the offer is not different to someone else's. The pricing doesn't reflect value. I don't mean, the value that you put into it, because you might go, oh, I spent so long creating this offer. So you've priced it up at this really maybe a higher rate or a particular rate based on the time that you have spent creating the offer. But does your audience value it for that price? Would they spend that much money on it? If you think about other offers that may be similar in your niche, Do they go for that price? Are people buying them at that price? That's a really good indicator to be able to see if your pricing is at the right level for the consumer. Or, even if maybe you're new in the industry, so you're pricing it the same price as others who are more experienced in the industry, or who have a bigger audience or a bigger cohort, are pricing theirs. But it doesn't really make sense to someone when they're looking, because they're like, okay, there's only a few people in this, or it's only just getting started. So why should I pay the same price as something maybe that has less experience, than when I could pay for something where the experience or the community is larger? So that's something to consider as well. And then maybe the bonuses don't support the core outcome. That's something I see often. People include bonuses just to include bonuses, just to sweeten the pot. But if the bonuses don't actually complement the core outcome, then there's really no point including them. They can end up just being this too many inclusions piece where it feels overwhelming just to throw things in for the sake of throwing things in. I love to think of bonuses as their own individual offers, but that complement the main offer. And if your bonus should be like how do I explain this? They should be able to, what they're paying for your program or your membership or your school community, that they should be able to pay that amount like for the bonus. They should see the value in the bonus. So say if you have something for $97, it's like your bonus alone could be worth that $97, but it's a bonus. That's how we make an offer irresistible. But again, it has to be complementary. So a strong offer must both be really clear to understand, but also impossible for someone to ignore. Now, if we get into the mechanics of what makes an offer irresistible, these are the things: a bold, specific promise where we tell them exactly what result they will get, a clear process or a framework where we show them the steps that they're going to take in order to get the result, a tight container. So something that actually makes sense. How are we delivering this, right? Whether it is, a digital product, whether it is a community, whether it is a DIY course, what is the container? A unique mechanism or differentiator. So why does your method work better, faster than someone else's? Like, how is it different? Bonuses that also can contribute to things like speed are really awesome. So things like templates, scripts, checklists. We don't necessarily want it to feel like extra training unless it makes sense to include extra training and it's very complementary. A no-brainer price to value ratio. Like I mentioned before, they should really feel like they are getting more value than they paid for. So when someone can see that, oh, even the price of your bonus is, equal to or more, they're getting more value even from the bonus than the price, then something like that makes it a no-brainer. So how can we make people feel like, wow, this is a steal. I would be stupid not to buy this. I want to get into some examples. So some examples of irresistible offers in a few different niches. First of all, health coach for women 40 plus. Say you are balancing hormones. So a week offer would be something vague. I help women balance their hormones and feel better. But here's how we could turn that into an irresistible offer. Let's call it the 8-week hormone reset program. Balance your hormones, boost your energy, and feel like yourself again without extreme diets or guessing. And this is based on what people are actually facing, what they're actually going through. Things like maybe they've tried extreme diets before, or they're just trying to guess how to do this. This could even be, to make this even more powerful, it might be without extreme diets or spending hours in the gym each day. Maybe it's like without, well, we've got extreme diets, so that's fine. Okay, promise, feel noticeable improvements in energy, sleep, mood, and weight within 30 days. So it's like after 30 days, you're going to feel a noticeable improvement. Then we might have a process. So our hormone reset method. First of all, we identify imbalances. Second of all, we have a custom nutrition for women 40 plus. So you follow your nutrition plan that is made for women like you. 3, we address sleep and stress and have this reset. 4, we have a hormone-friendly movement plan. And 5, you have weekly accountability and support. So that is an example of the process that someone could go through. For bonuses, if we think of things that can make things easier for them and faster for them and actually complement the offer and not just throw in random stuff, we could think of having a 7-day meal plan for hormone balance, a symptom tracker, a sleep restoration checklist, a supplement cheat sheet. They can just cross-reference the types of supplements they would need. What's the outcome? Steady energy, better sleep, balanced moods, and a clear path forward, so they're not guessing anymore. So that's one example here of how we would turn this kind of vague offer into something more irresistible. Then we've got a dog trainer who really wants to help people with off-leash walking in particular. So a week offer might just be, I help people train their dogs to walk off-leash. I mean, that's okay. It makes sense. But how can we make it really more specific and tangible? That's what makes an offer irresistible. Teach your dog, so the off-leash freedom program, teach your dog to come every single time. Okay, it could even be like, teach your dog to come every time you call them. So you can enjoy stress-free off-leash walks anywhere. That's really cool. So now we are painting this picture of what it actually looks like to be able to experience this outcome. Okay. Promise reliable recall in 30 days, even with a distracted dog. So they might say, oh my gosh, we might get this language from people saying, my dog is just so distracted, this will never work for me. That might be an objection that they have. And that's something you can really bring into the promise. Process. You might give it a framework so that they understand the steps they're going to take. Let's call it the reliable recall framework. Foundation obedience, distraction training, marker words and timing, controlled off-leash practice, real-world recall scenarios. And then bonuses. Remember, we want this to make life easier for them and just make the whole process better for them. So 15 recall drills, 30-day training progression plan, off-leash readiness checklist. So they can actually check, okay, is my dog ready for this next step? Personalized video analysis. So maybe a bonus for, an annual member or a higher tier. Say if you had a school community, it could be like your VIP tier. You're going to get a personalized video analysis of me critiquing you with your dog. Outcome, confident, safe off-leash walks without anxiety or yelling. That's cool. Okay, and a third example is an RN educator helping new nurses land their first job. A week offer could be, I help new nurses prepare for job interviews. It's fine. It's not blowing my mind. It's not painting a really detailed picture. So let's look at how we could now make this irresistible. The new grad nurse job accelerator. Land your first nursing job in 30 to 60 days by mastering interviews, resumes, and hospital hiring expectations. The promise is that you will walk into interviews confident, polished, and prepared, even with zero experience. Like you could say, make this even more specific, even with zero interview experience. Then they need a process. So they can imagine when they are in your program, what are the steps they're going to take? So we might call this the nurse hire fast method. 1, resume and cover letter that stands out. So that's what we work on in step 1. 2, interview question mastery. Confidence coaching. 4, what hiring managers look for. 5, application strategy to increase callbacks. So those are those 5 steps there. And then if we're going to make this absolutely irresistible by including some bonuses, we might think, 25 interview answer scripts, a mock interview video feedback where they could submit. Maybe that's for a higher tier or a sort of VIP person who joins. First 90 days as a new nurse guide. So you're already future pacing that they are going to get this job and this is your guide. Hospital resume templates. Outcome, new nurses know exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to secure offers faster. Beautiful. It's really clear. It's pretty irresistible. And these bonuses alone should be worth the cost. So to summarize, irresistible offers make everything easier. And now I also want to say, before I close this out, there are other ways we can make an offer irresistible too. We can look at things like obviously the pricing in more detail. We can look at things like payment terms. We can look at things like guarantees. I love guarantees. We should always have one to reduce risk for someone so they can feel confident. It could be something like a 7-day, no questions asked, refund guarantee. Like if you don't feel like this is a good fit, or if you don't feel like this is helping you take one step closer to landing your first nursing job, just send us an email and my assistant will refund you, no questions asked. Something like that always works a treat. And generally the number of people that the more people that you get because of that refund guarantee or whatever your guarantee is generally outweighs the number of people who actually do request the refund. So it is always awesome to include one. So there's lots of things that you can look at to make your offer irresistible, and it really is the foundation of being able to sell an offer consistently. So irresistible offers just make everything easier, because once the offer is clear, it's really specific, it is structured. So there is that clear format and it is compelling. Then your content that you create, your ads that you can create, even DMs with potential students or clients, emails and funnels, sales messaging, all of it performs better because the offer is really leading the way. When you have an offer that makes people feel like, I have to say yes to this, otherwise it will be stupid not to, I don't want to miss this opportunity. Your offer is doing most of the work for you. That is the way we want it to be.